Hi guys, Arindam here. And from this special video onwards, I will be giving you a tour of my Ark Taxidermy Museum containing every single creature in the game up to Crystal Isles. We are going to start with dinosaurs. Yes, I have made a taxidermy museum containing over 350 creatures compiled into different sub-branches like dinosaurs, mammals, reptiles, fishes, amphibians, bosses, etc. And from this video onwards, I will be making short videos. In each video, I will be giving you a detailed tour and prehistoric explanation of each of these creatures. So now, I will be starting off with the first one, dinosaurs. So let us begin. So this is my dinosaur taxidermy museum containing every single dinosaur present in the game. We're going to start off with the first dinosaur. Now, before I start it off, the dinosaurs are taxidermied in a certain order. The order is in lexicographic or dictionary order. And the first dinosaur we come up here is called Allosaurus. Now, in real life, Allosaurus had three different subgroups. We have Allosaurus fragilis from America, Allosaurus europaeus from Europe, and we have the Allosaurus maximus or Saurophaganax maximus, also from the United States. Now, Allosaurus fragilis, the one that is most common, is the one that is used for making this model. The fragilis stood at 9.7 meters and around 2 to 4 tons. It was called the Lion of the Jurassic because it was the most powerful predator and it also hunted in packs. You can think of the Allosaurus as a combination of the tiger's strength, lion's social ability, and wolf's teamwork, all combined into one. Now, the Allosaurus had a very interesting neck and jaw structure. It can actually protrude its jaw up till 135 degrees, and scientists say that it used its jaw like a hatchet. Its bite force is actually very small, even smaller than a lion, but it used its sharp teeth and its jaws more like a hatchet to, do this, clamp down and hit its prey, causing massive bleed damage. This is the reason why in this game the Allosaurus has a gnash effect. And Allosaurus also used to have very long arms that can be used for both slashing as well as grabbing prey. It truly was the most awesome dinosaur you can think of, and technically it was actually more awesome than even your Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, Allosaurus fragilis was size-wise somewhere between the smaller europaeus and the gigantic maximus. Allosaurus maximus or Saurophaganax was gigantic. At 13 meters long and around 6-7 tons, it was actually slightly longer than a T-Rex and was the most powerful predator in the Jurassic era. So much so that its smaller cousin fragilis and even the Torvosaurus used to completely avoid it. And Allosaurus remains have been found in the Morrison Formation in United States, in Montana Valley. Next dinosaur we have is the Ankylosaurus from the Cretaceous era. Ankylosaurus or Ankylosaurids are known for their heavily armored body, complete with spikes, and their club-like tail. They were vegetarians and they were also very powerful. These are the kind of dinosaurs that even large predators used to completely avoid. And they used this club for defending themselves. Next we have the Baryonyx. Now, Baryonyx, scientific name Baryonyx walkeri, was from Europe and England, and Baryonyx, the scientific name is given for its special claw in its toe. The Baryonyx actually means heavy claw. It used its heavy claw for killing fishes. It used to pluck fishes out of the water. And Baryonyx is actually the second smallest spinosaurid dinosaur. Yes, it belongs to the same group as Spinosaurus. The others belonging to the Spinosaurid group are in order of size: Irritator, Baryonyx, Suchomimus, and Spinosaurus. Now, we have found evidence that Baryonyx, even though it is primarily a fish eater which used to roam near water, we have found evidence that it also used to hunt normal prey, and Iguanodon remains have been found in Baryonyx stomach in fossils. Now in game, the Baryonyx size is very much equal to what it was in the actual. So as far as accuracy is concerned, Baryonyx is pretty much accurate. Next dinosaur is the Brontosaurus. It is a gigantic sauropod dinosaur from the Jurassic era, and it used to roam near other sauropods like Camarasaurus, Diplodocus and Apatosaurus. In game it is rather big, but in real life it used to be around 10 to 12 meters long, possibly even 15 meters, sorry, not long, 10 to 12 meters high and around 20 to 25 meters long. It was rather big, and generally most predators would leave them be. Only their calves or small subadults would get attacked by the largest predators. Okay. Next we have Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus means flesh bull. Carnotaurus belongs to a group of dinosaurs or theropod dinosaurs called Abelisaurids, which includes Majungasaurus, Abelisaurus, Rheajasaurus and Carnotaurus, also including Rugops from Africa. Carnotaurus is actually the largest of the Abelisaurids, and these Abelisaurids are known for having a rather broad but stocky face, very small arms, and the fact that they are not really big. Some of the Abelisaurids like Majungasaurus and Abelisaurus have been known to be cannibals. The Carnotaurus in game is actually rather large, but in real life Carnotaurus would be the same size as the in-game Utahraptor, which is slightly larger, slightly taller than a human being. In real life, the Carnotaurus used its horns to, for mating rituals, for dominance, and Carnotaurus was known to be a sprinter. In this case, when it found its prey, it used to sprint very fast, headlong, and attack its prey and then kill it. It also had rather powerful jaws. Next we have the Palmsognathas. Palmsognathas and its more primeval variant Palmsognathas was once considered the smallest dinosaur, but eventually that has been disproved since we have found dinosaurs like Microraptor. They were rather small, like as small as a chicken or a turkey, and they used to hunt mostly lizards and other small insects. Next we have the Deinonychus. Deinonychus means terror claw. You see this claw right there? It's known for this. Deinonychus belongs to a group called the Dromaeosaurids, which includes other famous names like Velociraptor, Utahraptor, Ostroraptor, Achilobator, Dromaeosaurus itself, and others. These dinosaurs were actually called raptors, and practically all of them had a lot of feathers on their bodies. Deinonychus from possibly the Jurassic and early Cretaceous era was highly adaptable, and it used to hunt in packs. They actually used to hunt hadrosaurs like Tyrannosaurus and even iguanodons and even stegosaurus. They were actually very powerful and they were very smart also. In game, the Deinonychus size is somewhat large. So a Deinonychus would be the same height as an adult human. It is larger than a Velociraptor but smaller than the Utahraptor. You can think of Deinonychus more as the grey wolf of the dinosaur era. Next we have the Dilophosaurus. Now this rendition of Dilophosaurus has been taken directly from the child specimen that you found in Jurassic Park 1. Now it's funny because Dilophosaurus was actually a really large dinosaur. It was taller than a Carnotaurus, around 3 to 3.5 meters tall and around 6 to 8 meters long. It used to have a slender body and it did not have a frill like this. This cobra-like frill used to not be there. It used to have that crest in the head. It used to be slim and it used to be a fast dinosaur. Now Dilophosaur was from the Triassic era of dinosaur. It was one of the first dinosaurs to have ever been born. And it was very primitive. Next we have the Diplodocus. Diplodocus was once called the longest dinosaur ever, with around 27 to 30 meters length, but that has been disproved. It was from the Jurassic era and lived alongside Stegosaurus and Allosaurus. Now, Diplodocus used its long, slim, tail-like or whip-like tail to detract Allosaurus and other predators. It was rather big. Think of Diplodocus kind of like the wildebeest, zebra, or even the elephant of the Jurassic era. They used to be in large groups, which used to protect the small ones from predator attacks. Now, Diplodocus was not a shy and docile creature as it is seen in the game. In real life, it would violently defend its cubs and itself from predators. And Allosaurus used to hunt in packs to take down one of these guys. And even then, the Allosaurus would not try to kill an adult Diplodocus. It would just try to inflict mortal wounds with its hatchet-like attacks so that the dinosaur would bleed out and eventually die out from blood loss. Next we have Gallimimus, a ornithischian or bird-like dinosaur. It was a meat-eating dinosaur, but in real life it would be harmless to us. It used to mostly hunt small animals. This rendition is somewhat accurate and has been taken again from Jurassic Park. They used to be good sprinters, kind of like ostriches, but other than that there is nothing too significant about them. Next we have Giganotosaurus Carolini from South America. Now, Giganotosaurus belongs to a group called the Carcharodontosaurids, which also includes Carcharodontosaurus from North Africa, Mapusaurus again from South America, and Tyrannotitan from again South America. And these Giganotosaurids or Carcharodontosaurids were were actually cousins of the Allosaurus. They were actually cousins, yeah, they are related somewhat. They were very similar in their attack pattern, in that Giganotosaurus actually used to, Giganoto and Mapu and Carcharodonto, they used to actually be in small groups of around 7 to 8 dinosaurs, and they used to hunt large sauropods. That is why, because they are cousins, you will find that both the Allo and the Giganoto have the Gnash ability, because they used to attack in similar manner. What is interesting to note is Giganotosaurus has the largest theropod skull ever. It is even bigger than the skull of a Spinosaurus or a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It has the largest skull. Yes, that's right. At around 14 to 15 meters long and 5 to 6 meters high, Giganotosaurus was sometimes even slightly bigger than a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was not as heavy as a T-Rex, but it was slightly bigger. And one-on-one, since the Giganotosaurus used to hunt in packs and was much more, slender, it actually has a chance to defeat a T-Rex. Now the Giganotosaurus in the game has been taken from the size of the Giganotosaurus in the game has been taken from the Giganotosaurus in one of the, forgot the name. Okay, let's just skip it. I forgot that part. So in real life, the Giganotosaurus used to hunt the gigantic titanosaurs like Argentinosaurus, Titanosaurus, etc. What they used to do is they used to group up around 5 to 6 Giganotos at the same time, and they used to take large bite-sized pieces from the sauropod till it eventually dies from blood loss or pain. Okay. Next we have the Hydrosol Iguanodon. Think of hadrosaurs more like bovines of the dinosaur era. Hadrosaurs like Iguanodon also included others like Tyrannosaurus and Shantungosaurus. Iguanodon is the most common of the hadrosaurs and was from Europe and mainly from England. Iguanodon was named because of its claw, which means heavy claw. Oh, sorry. Iguanodon actually stands for iguana-like claw, and it used to use these claws as a stabbing tool, both to defend itself against predators as well as to gather fruits and berries from trees. Next we have the stegosauric dinosaur called Kentrosaurus. Kentrosaurus was a rather smaller version of the stegosauric dinosaur. It used to use its spike both for defense as well as for mating rituals. So scientists say that all these stegosauric dinosaurs, what they used to do was, for mating and for dominance, it used to flush blood into its these spikes. It used to flush blood into these spikes, which caused these spikes to look very vibrant. And because these spikes are sort of translucent, when the sun rays came up, it used to look really dazzling. And this display looked very good, and it was used for mating and dominance. And they were plant eaters. That's it. Next we have the Megalosaurus. Megalosaurus was one of the earliest known dinosaurs known to man. It was actually discovered in the 1800s, but at that time people used to think of it as a four-legged lizard. Now, Megalosaurus has again been very accurately depicted in its behavior in this game, because Megalosaurus was known to grab its prey in its mouth, and then it used to grab its prey in its mouth and then it used to shake it like this, kind of like a crocodile, and in this way tear away the entire piece of flesh from it. It had very, very powerful jaws, similar to the power of jaws in a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Compared to the Allosaurus, the Megalosaurus might be smaller. Yes, Megalosaurus were actually smaller than Allos, but they had very powerful and strong jaws. While their teeth was not as firm as that for Tyrannosaurus, Megalosaurus' teeth was used for holding its prey in its jaws and then shaking it so that the entire prey kind of tears itself apart. Something funny about the Megalosaurus is it is one of the most primitive of the large theropod dinosaurs, and the Megalosaurus family is related to the Spinosaurid family like Baryonyx. Yes, Spinosaurus, Baryonyx, they are actually distantly related to the Megalosaurus. The Megalosaurus family also included the Torvosaurus, which had two things: Torvosaurus stanneri and Torvosaurus gournei. Both of them are the Torvosaurus stanneri, I think, was from the United States and competed with Allosaurus fragilis, whereas Torvosaurus gournei, the larger Torvosaurus, was from Europe, where it competed with Allosaurus europaeus, and they had kind of a love-hate relationship. In the US, the Allosaurus was larger than the Torvosaurus, but in the Europe, the Torvosaurus was larger than the Allosaurus. Next we have the Microraptor. Now, Microraptor is actually possibly the smallest dinosaur ever discovered. It is actually smaller than your Palmsognathas. In the game it doesn't look like that, but Microsaurus was actually very small. And it had feathers, and it used to use its feathers to glide from one tree to the other. And they were not annoying in real life. Next we have Oviraptor. Oviraptors were long known to be considered as the egg thief, that is its scientific name. But we have found remains that show that Oviraptors were not just egg thieves, they were actually also used to kill live, young and other flesh. So that classification of egg thief is now somewhat disapproved. Oviraptor family also had the gigantic raptor called Gigantoraptor, which was huge, even bigger than the Utahraptor. Next we go to the second floor. Now every single museum that I have made for this one, next we have mammals, reptiles, fishes, fantasy creatures, everything. They are color coded. In that, I have made sure that the colors are aligned with the type of creature that I am trying to show. So dinosaurs being cold-blooded and dinosaurs being my favorite creatures of all time, I have made them my favorite color combination of blue, white and black. Okay, now in the second floor we have the remaining dinosaurs. We have Patchy Cephalosaurus. The cephalo part is because of its crest in its skull. This crest was actually used for dominance and mating. It had nothing to do with scaring away predators. So for a long time we used to think that this crest was used for head-butting predators, but that is not true, because the crest would cause a lot of damage that might dislocate the skull. And they were vegetarians also. Next we have the Apache Rhinosaurus. It is a Ceratopsians, or belonging to the same family as the Triceratops, but much smaller. Next we have another hadrosaur called Parasaurolophus. Now in general, the dinosaurs in Ark are actually larger than the dinosaurs in game, but it's reverse for Parasaurolophus, because the Parasaurolophus of real life was actually larger than the Parasaurolophus in this game, and they were not cowards. Parasaurolophus could actually fight back if it's required. They were kind of like the cows. Parasaurolophus used its this part of the structure, I don't know the exact name, for making very loud sounds. It had another cousin called Saurolophus that had again something similar but not exactly the same, and they used this top portion and to fill in air to make sounds for honking and other purposes. Next we have the Pego Mastex, which is the thief. It was a vegetarian dinosaur with slight feathers, and yeah, that's about it. I don't know much about this one. It's a very rare dinosaur. Next we have the raptor. Now its size and its looks have been taken from the Velociraptor found in Jurassic Park 3, because in Jurassic Park 3 the Velociraptor actually had some feathers, but in game it is actually the Utahraptor. The Utahraptors were the largest raptors ever found. Well, not the largest. Gigantoraptor is actually bigger, but Utahraptors were the largest raptors in the US. But Utahraptors were actually slightly bigger than this and did not look as deformed like here, as you can see here. Utahraptors were also covered in feathers, and they used to hunt like gigantic, dire wolves, and used their typical claw, the raptor's typical claw, to like a sickle to place them on the back of another dinosaur and hold it to it, causing massive blood loss and trauma. They also used to use their claws in their arms to slash at their prey, causing more damage. Next we have the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Well, in game it is the Tyrannosaurus dominium, because all game creatures are actually slightly altered, mutated versions of the real ones. That is according to Ark lore. Now Tyrannosaurus Rex was the largest and last of the Tyrannosaurid dinosaur. It was also one of the heaviest. It was possibly the heaviest theropod dinosaur encountered, possibly, because we don't know about Spinosaurus. It was around 12 to 14 meters long, 5 meters tall, and close to 8 to 10 tons. And Tyrannosaurus was one of the most advanced dinosaurs ever, because it was also one of the last. It used to live around 67 million years ago and died out during the Cretaceous extinction of 65 million years ago. Tyrannosaurus was known for its very powerful jaw, which was very strong and can crush any bone or flesh with ease. They were also known for their small arms, which really had no function at all. Now, there have been many theories as to how Tyrannosaurus hunted. The most accepted fact was that Tyrannosaurus was kind of like a jaguar. It used to lie in wait and ambush its prey. And when it ambushed it, it used to give short sprints which were very fast, like kind of like a jaguar or a lion, and it used to catch its prey and then, use its powerful jaw to hold it and then down it. Now, the Tyrannosaurus Rex was the largest of the Tyrannosaurid. The Tyrannosaurids started from the following dinosaurs. We had Alioramus, Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, Daspletosaurus, Tarbosaurus bata from Asia, and then Tyrannosaurus Rex from the United States. Next we have Spinosaurus aegypticus. Spinosaurus aegypticus is the largest theropod dinosaur to have ever lived. It was 17 meters long and was possibly around 10 to 11 tons. It was huge, it was gigantic. Now, Spinosaurus used to stay near rivers in Africa. It used to hunt, according to theories, it used to swim in rivers and it used to hunt gigantic fishes like sawfishes. It used to also hunt all animals that used to be close by. It really had no competition. The only competition Spinosaurus had, or the only challenge, was from Carcharodontosaurus, also from the same North Africa. So what happened was, Spinosaurus used to live close to the rivers, whereas Carcharodontosaurus used to live more inland. But as the river started drying up, the two apex predators started meeting each other, causing gigantic battles, which would end badly for both of them actually. Now, Spinosaurus has long been told to walk on 4 legs, but that is not true. According to most people nowadays, they say that Spinosaurus actually used to walk on 2 legs, not on 4. It can go on 4 legs, but it used to mostly go on 2 legs. Thing is, Spinosaurus was very slender. While the T-Rex was very bulky and muscular, the Spinosaurus was slender. And it used to use its tail, which was, the tail was actually not like this. So, if you look at another video game called Prehistoric Kingdom, you will find that the Spinosaurus tail was similar to the tail of any crocodiles, which was flat, so that it used to use its tail to steer in the water and move. So Spinosaurus also had rather weak jaws. It used to lie in wait close to rivers and put its jaw in the water, so that the moment a particular fish, say my crosshair is a fish, used to come slowly there, it used to grab hold of that fish and then dump that fish in the ground, use its claws to slash the fish like this, tear away flesh and then eat it. If you want to know more about Spinosaurus, you can watch the documentaries Walking with Dinosaurs and Dinosaur Planet. They have very interesting facts about Spinosaurus. Okay, let me take a bit of breath. Okay, so next we have Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus lived alongside Allosaurus and it was its mortal enemy. Stegosaurus was one of the largest of the stegosaurid dinosaur, and it used its frill for mating rights, as a threat display, as well as for dominance. Just like Kentrosaurus, what happened was, when it used to do any of its dominance or threat display, it used to pump blood from its body into the frills, which would make the frills look really bright and dominating. Scientists also say that Because the Jurassic era was very hot, it might have also used its frills kind of like a cooling mechanism to cool off the entire body. Okay. Next we have Therizinosaurus. Now Therizinosaurus belongs to a group of dinosaurs called Therizinosaurids, which also includes Nostronicus. These guys are very curious in that these Therizinosaurids are the only, let me say this again, they are the only vegetarian theropod dinosaurs ever. Yes, I just said vegetarian theropod. That's like saying a lion which is vegetarian or a wolf which is vegetarian. You cannot think of theropods being vegetarian. Theropods are always meat eating, but not these guys. And these Therizinosaurus was the largest of the Therizinosaurids. It used to be 10 meters long and around 5 to 7 meters high. It was so high that it was actually higher than Spinosaurus or T-Rex. And Therizinosaurus actually is known from its claws. Therizinosaurus actually means scythe claws. The in-game model for Therizinosaurus is not accurate because Therizinosaurus is used to have long necks, small heads, and a very fat body with a very small tail. They used to use their necks to find leaves and other eating stuff from high up atop the trees, and they used to use their sickle-like claws to actually gather those leaves. These Therizinosaurs also use their claws as a defense, so that practically no dinosaur, not even a Tarbosaurus batad, would dare challenge a Therizinosaur. In game, it is called the tickle chicken, and it is one of the best dinosaurs you can actually tame. You can use it for harvesting, you can use it for utility, you can also use it to complete all the boss fights in the island map, like what I have done. Next we have the Titanosaur. Titanosaur is a misnomer for the entire genus. Now Titanosaurids included Argentinosaurus, Patagotitan, Puertasaurus and Titanosaurus. All of them are from South America and lived alongside their enemies Mapusaurus and Giganotosaurus. These guys were considered the largest dinosaur. In fact, the Titanosaurus was around 15 to 17 meters tall and was 62 metric tons in weight. It was gigantic. And even the large Giganotosaurus and Mapusaurus, which were both larger than T-Rexes, used to gang up in groups of 5 to 7 and take up small bite-sized chunks from a Titanosaurus. They were not capable of taking on a Titanosaurus head-on, even as a group. They were simply too large and too powerful. Next we have the Ceratopsian Triceratops. Now people are curious in that there is a theory that states that the Triceratops skull that has been found out is actually not Triceratops, in that Triceratops as a dinosaur does not exist, because people are saying that Triceratops skull that has been found out was a sub-adult specimen of the dinosaur called Torosaurus, which had an even larger and even taller skull. People are confused as to whether they can call Triceratops as a separate dinosaur or as a sub-adult specimen of Torosaurus. What we know is Triceratops is often thought of as the rhino of the dinosaur era, but that is further from the truth. These frills were again used for mating, display and dominance. These frills were actually very fragile even with bones, and only these two horns can be used for defense. They were not as defensive and protective as we think they are, and most predators would actually bite down on the frills and take part of it off. And they were from the Cretaceous, by the way. And Triceratops family also included others like Styracosaurus, Torosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, and well, there are others that I forgot right now. Next we have the Troodon. Troodon is a very interesting specimen of creature. People say that if dinosaurs were not extinct and human beings have never come, Troodons might have one day evolved to be the ruling creatures on this planet, because Troodons have been known to have exceptionally high levels of intelligence, higher than all other dinosaurs, higher than most reptiles of today, and even most birds. They had proportionally very large brains, very good eyesight, and were known to be very intelligent. Hence their appearance in the game. As you know, in the game you cannot tame a Troodon normally, because they are simply too intelligent to be tranked and tamed. Hence you have to actually let the Troodon trust you by letting a Troodon kill one of your own tamed creatures. And that intelligent or problem solving logic has been taken directly from real world facts. Okay, the last dinosaur we have is the Eutyrannus hueli, scientific name. Eutyrannus hueli was from China. It was discovered by Chinese paleontologists. It is a cousin of the Tyrannosaurus. It is not directly related to a Tyrannosaurus, but more like a cousin. So Tyrannosaurus Rex and Eutyrannus has the same cousin relationship as Allosaurus and Giganotosaurus, not direct relatives. Now, Eutyrannus in game is very large, but in real life, Eutyrannus would be around 3 meters tall and around 9 meters long. It is actually smaller than an Allosaurus. And generally, Eutyrannus would not be this scary. We do not know if Eutyrannus used to have feathers or not, but definitely it was not that big. It also used to have a similar Tyrannosaurus-like powerful jaw, but again, it was a distant relative, not an actual relative. So yeah, that is every single real-life dinosaur that you find in Ark Survival Evolved. I did not include Morellatops and Velociraptors because even though they are dinosaurs, they are fictional, not real ones. So that is my entire dinosaur museum. As you can see, I have lots of museum. This is the first building out of total of 16 buildings that I have, each for a different kind of dinosaur. Next, in the next video, I will be showing you my mammals exhibit. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed the video, because I definitely loved making this museum. In fact, in my entire journey through Ark, making this taxidermy museum was my favorite thing, and it is the definitive museum that I've tried to make. So till then, thank you for watching and stay tuned. There will be more.